What's up, YouTube? I am here to do a review on the UTG Pro made by Leapers. It is the super slim drop-in front handrail. Just put it on, just received it, got it through Cheaper Than Dirt for $65. Great price for a great feeling and looking handguard. Really slims down the front end of my rifle. Works real well. I did have a Magpul MOE on here, and it was just a little too big and a little too bulky. I have smaller hands, so it definitely comes out working out real well for me. A couple of really nice things is we've got this bridge over the delta ring here, which allows me to mount my optics quite a bit better. I took everything off just so we could see, what it looks like. I wasn't going to take this off just because it's torqued in to the correct torque settings down here, so I don't want to take it off and on and off and on and off and on. So, a couple of really nice things here. Let me disconnect this here. Bring this up a little closer. What I love about this handguard is, this versus a quad rail. I actually get to get my hands in and around this without having the sharpness of the quad rail or getting covers for quad rails. It allows me to get a much better grip on my firearm. But it also gives you the option of adding Picatinny rails to the 3, 6, or 9 o'clock slot. Also, on the top you can see it does have the numbered rail slots, so when you're putting your optics on, you can always get everything back to zero by putting everything back in the correct rail slots that you zeroed them in at. Like I said, wonderful option to have this if you're going to not switch to a free float. You're going to stick with the delta ring, having this bridge that goes across to your existing rail. I am shooting a Smith Wesson M&P 15 Sport, which means it does not have a dust cover and it does not have a forward assist. Two things that, after weighing all the options, didn't really decide that I needed either one of those. Great little rifle for a great price. It is a 223-556, so I can shoot either one. I have my Magpul MOE pistol grip and forward grip. And for optics, it comes factory with the Magpul M-Bus rear sight. And I have gone ahead and purchased a VMX3t 3x magnifier, and for Christmas I got a Sightmark QD quick disconnect, quick detach reflex sight. Slip this back up here. One of the reasons for purchasing this was because I was using my 3x magnifier with my reflex sight, and I was getting a starburst effect. Wasn't really getting that great of a sight picture. Did some reviews on the VMX3t and didn't see anything as far as how to get rid of that. Did some reviews on the Sightmark. Didn't see anything on how to get rid of the starburst effect, or really any help on using a magnifier with a reflex or a red dot sight. So, but what I did notice after watching multiple videos on YouTube is that everybody that was having good results with the sight picture had their magnifier back as far as they could get it, either having the M-Bus sight in between the magnifier and the red dot or reflex, or having plenty of space between the magnifier and the reflex or red dot. So with the Magpul MOE front handguard, it doesn't give you the availability to have a rail on top. So I had to look for something that was going to give me that option, but I also wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to be too bulky or too annoying to handle with my hands. So I started doing some research, and I really like the look of the Super Slims when they're in a free float, and UTG happened to have a Super Slim drop-in. Midwest Industries also has a Super Slim drop-in, but it doesn't have the bridge going across the delta ring from what I saw. Not to mention Midwest Industries, you're looking at paying almost double of what I paid for this. So let me show you how I currently have my setup for. So guys, with my VMX3t magnifier, I've got it mounted on here all the way right up against my M-Bus sight. I always like to test the M-Bus just to make sure it's still going to lift up with no issues, which it does. I'm going to turn this around here so you guys can all see that everything does work properly. So we can kind of come in here a little closer. So we can see my M-Bus sight does come up perfectly easy. Now, one of the things with this VMX3t magnifier is when you get it from the factory and you open the box and get it out of the box, it opens to where this push button is on the back side, and it opens to the left. Now, one of the things that a lot of the reviews were saying, and I found the same issue, when it opens to the left, it covers your left eye, which if you're right-handed or right eye dominant like I am, that's going to block you from having the ability to open both eyes and shoot with both eyes open. It's just going to kind of get in your way. So you can easily just disassemble the mount just with these two screws here, and turn the optic around, place it back in the mount. And a lot of people are saying that it's an issue to have the push button on the front. It's really not for me. I just keep my support hand up here. I take my hand off the trigger, come up, and push the button with my right hand. Flipping it out to the right, I'm able to focus in on my target quickly, get my hand back down here, and proper trigger control, able to fire away. No issues whatsoever. So guys, now I've got my Sightmark reflex sight loaded back on to my upper rail, and this is basically what I've noticed is what's helped eliminate the starburst effect the most, is by having quite a bit of space between my magnifier and my reflex or red dot sight. That is just what's worked for this combination, the combination of the Vortex VMX3t with the Sightmark QD Ultrashot. I don't know if that's going to work for your red dot or your reflex, but this is what I've noticed works the best for this combination. So if you're like me and you're purchasing or building your rifle all your own on a budget, the Sightmark is not a bad reflex sight to go with. Is it going to be combat tested, battle approved, going overseas, throwing this in the dirt? Probably not. The Vortex magnifier, is it? Yes, definitely. This is a great magnifier. I think I bought this at a local gun shop, and I got it down to like $189 for the magnifier. So a really good deal for that. But the Sightmark that was a $99 reflex sight. Nothing too extravagant there. It's not an EOTech, it's not an aim point, but it is a good little magnifier. I'm sorry, good little reflex. So this is kind of the configuration that I've gone with to help reduce that starburst effect. And to do that, I needed something that was going to give me a rail on the front that bridged the delta ring gap, but also fit my hand nicely. So there you go. I wanted to show you kind of a great picture of what I look at. As you can see, here is my M-Bus sight. Here's the VMX3t. And here's the Sightmark Ultrashot QD. So with the Ultrashot, you have the option of multiple different reticles. You have different brightness levels, which I can show you here. So here's the lowest version, and then it jumps back up to the highest. Right now it's on the dot, so it's a little harder to see for you guys, I'm sure. But you've got a couple different reticles. One of the things that you see a lot of reviews on this is that your zero will change when moving these reticles around, so kind of pick one you like and stick with it. I haven't really noticed that issue. I've got this tightened down really tight, so it's not going to move. And I have no issues with holding zero. So I wanted to show you, I've got this set up in absolute co-witness. So when I flip my M-Bus sight here, you'll be able to see I can look directly through my iron sights and be able to see my red dot or reflex directly through my M-Bus. The reason I set it up in absolute co-witness is for the main fact that that's how I like it. I like to be able to see that sight sitting right on top of my front sight. So if my batteries ever fail or anything like that for my red dot, I can always I'm already looking at the sight picture that I need with my iron sights. So I will always recommend having iron sights on here. So now I can show you guys what it looks like through the magnifier. So I'll just roll this down in place here. We can see my reflex sight through the magnifier. It comes out looking really nice. That black bar on the bottom that you see, normally you won't see that. It's just the position of the camera. Trying to get this lined up here is always fun. So right now I've got it probably about 3.5 inches away from the magnifier, which eye relief on this is usually about 3 to 3.5 inches. So with my stock all the way forward, using your cheek well, your nose is pretty much right on the charging handle when you're looking through this. But you can see it gives a great sight picture and no starburst effect at this time with this setup. So when you're not using the magnifier, just flip it out of the way. And to turn off the Sightmark, you're going to just push and hold for 3 seconds and it turns off. And then you can go right back to using your backup iron sights. Great sight picture. Great little rifle that I've got. Love it. Building on a budget, this is definitely the way to go. Smith Wesson M&P 15 Sport with a Leapers UTG Pro. That's the MTU001SS. It is the drop-in super slim handguard. I've got a Magpul MOE front grip. I've got a mag pull in OD green pistol grip. I've got the Sightmark Ultrashot QD with the quick disconnect, and one of the things that I will always rave about with this UTG Pro Handguard is the bridge over the Delta ring. This is by far the most helpful tool on this front handguard. With this front handguard, you have the option of mounting your Picatinny rails at the 3, 6, or 9 o'clock slots. Here, everything is provided for you. I'll go over here to this side. I'll show you guys. Here I've got one of the short rails. They come with 2 short rails and 2 longer rails. The longer rails are just basically double the size. As you can see, it does have these are etched in, laser etched numbering systems, so you can see it picks right up where your existing upper leaves off. So with this setup, like I said, I have the VMX3t 3x magnifier, nice and sturdy 3x magnifier. As you guys can see, since everybody's always a nut about this, physical check, we are empty, and no magazine in the mag well, that's just the holder. So